Hey guys, welcome back. Last episode we got scolded by Mutao, and this episode we're gonna help Emmy and Reen with their festival project. So let's just get right back into it. Alrighty. So thanks to Emmy's flaky logic, here I am again, reading this sentence. The room is empty apart from ourselves and lonely specks of dust floating in the air. Emmy skips straight away into the back wall, digging out a tiny, crumpled piece of paper from her pocket. While she tries to make sense of the scrawled handwriting, she takes a closer look at the materials lying around. I'll bet you Rin wrote that with her foot. Dozens of paint cans and bottles are arranged on the shelves in a most unorganized fashion. Well, yeah, it's art, kids. Some look like they have been left there for several decades, relics of previous art club generations. Next to the heavy stacks of neatly piled drawing paper are boxes full of different sized brushes and unsorted crayons. Not crowns, crayons. The smell of paint, turpentine, and fresh paper float in the stale air, mixing my nostrils to form that unmistakable scent of art. Yeah, that's a scent, alright. Emmy studies her notes, comparing them to markings on the various paint cans, and passes them to me as she finds the correct matches. She stretches her neck to look on the topmost shelf, but it's not quite enough. Ha, shorty. Her eye level stays below the shelf, no matter what she does. Emmy gives up and just looks up to the shelf longingly, like a child at a toy store, huffing in annoyance. Jump, jump, jump. I'm gonna watch that again. I'm sorry. I know I'm immature, but that's fucking hilarious. After a moment of building anger, she starts jumping up and down like this, apparently trying to speed read the labels during the fraction of a second she can see them, and catch what she can. It's no surprise that she fails miserably and almost manages to bring the entire shelf crashing down. Now I see why me lending her a hand here would be useful. Come on, let me do that. You can't jump high enough, and I don't want you to hurt yourself trying. Also, I'm like twice your height. You're not. She turns around, flaring scorn, flushed cheeks and all. Just kidding. Anyway, I'll look up there, okay? JK. She glares at me one more time, but can't come up with a retort. With a grudging humph, turns her back to me. So I begin scrounging around the top shelf for paint while below, Emmy crouches to scavenge what she can from the cupboards. I shake my head a little, after double-checking to ensure that she can't see me do so. Emmy having a complex about her height was a surprise. I wouldn't have joked about it otherwise. She seems easygoing, but I guess everyone has their weak spots. Turn that music up a bit, because now it's not being... This music is just weird. It's like it's either too loud, or it's too quiet, or it doesn't exist. And it blows up my mic. Or it doesn't even reach my mic. I'm Mike. Using a mic. Only after we have almost all the items collected and spread out on the desk like a treasure hunter's spoils, do I realize it wasn't necessarily the height jab that got her riled up. She might not like to be told that she can't do something, like jump. But Emmy herself seems to have forgotten all about it already. Quick to anger, quick to forgive. She is that type of person. At least she doesn't seem to have taken anything to heart, as she chatters away happily while we pick up the rest of the items, and then make our way back to Reen. I chivalrously carry the bulk of the material as we make our way towards the dormitories. Reen is really stressed about getting her painting done. It's her own fault, though. She should have started earlier. That's her reading. Reen is really stressed out about getting her painting done. It's her own fault, though. She should have started earlier. Is she going to make it? No idea. Looks good to me, but with Rin, you never know what's going on. I found her this morning lying in front of the dorm in a fetal position. She hadn't slept all night. I can't believe that the night nurse hadn't found her. And now she's painting again like crazy. Yeah, I've noticed that she comes off as kinda unhinged, so to speak. Emmy giggles at that, as well as at my likely too obvious awkwardness. I don't mind it. She's just a little weird sometimes. On that I can agree with her. Unlike me, Emmy seems to be cool with Reen's whatever it is that feels so off about her. Still, they don't feel close like Misha and Shizune do, with them working on as a single entity sometimes. It's hard to say where one ends and the other begins. It's too late. It's too late to make the joke now. I was just gonna write down lesbians, but I didn't. Even though they're so different, just like Emmy and Reen are. And Reen is the most different of them all. Different from anyone else I've ever met. Yeah, I guess she's a very unique person. I return to that word again, as if it encompasses Reen's personality by itself, but really it's just a substitute for a lengthy description of her oddities. Emmy giggles as I grasp about for a properly descriptive word. She's just weird. You know, earlier she just spent half an hour sitting on her box and stared at her toes. She giggles again in a way that makes me think she doesn't know what's funny about it. It just is. All that time. The working area is a mess, but the mural itself has taken over even more of the wall since I last saw it. The disfigured human figures have been mostly colored in tones of red, pink, and orange. Weird, imaginary things populating the spaces between. It looks nice. I can't think of any word that would describe the work concisely and comprehensively, so I settled myself on a nondescript nice. But honestly, it seems that the area around the wall becomes untidier at the same rate as the mural progresses. The ground is littered with dozens of paint cans, various art supplies, and empty soda bottles. Reen herself is in the center of this chaos, standing there looking very cozy, as if she was a natural part of the scene. Her paint legs have been rolled up to her knees. What? Oh, her pant legs have been rolled up to her knees. My painting legs are off. All of a sudden, I'm Emmy. Exposing her thin legs, which sport a drying spectrum of war painting, similar to those on Emmy's face. Emmy sprints to Reen ahead of me and gleefully jumps in front of her. I'm back! That was fast. Did you run in the corridors again? So help me. Emmy points victoriously at me. Reen turns around, following Emmy's finger with her eyes, looking at my general direction. I like how her face gets like extremely bored whenever I'm involved. She nods absent-mindedly at me. She looks like she hasn't slept since last night. A vacant, glazed stare that's focused slightly off me, and movements like in slow motion in movie. Hello, Asao. Thank you for helping. Don't mention it. I just did. Never mind. Looks like you've made progress. Looking good, as far as I can tell. And now you get more bad luck. I know, but I'm willing to take the risk. That's a very nice thing to say. For me, of course, not you. This is why artists are always unlucky. They have to constantly look at their unfinished paintings. So artists can't find romance. Their favorite TV shows are canceled, or they die young because of an unspecified disease. It's a deep and mysterious law of the universe. Unless they're blind. She considers this for a while, looking like she's going to fall asleep. There's a boy. At the art club, you see. Blind boy, so he doesn't see. You already told me. I glance sideways at Emmy, and she glances back in a way that tells me she's heard this one before too. Neither of us says anything to Reen, though, so she continues her monotone soliloquy, like an unfunny stand-up comedian. He should become an artist. No bad luck guaranteed. Don't you think that would be a good idea? That only blind people should become artists? No, not as such. Dots. You might have a point. Abandoning this train of thought, she turns again to consider her work and starts humming a tune that I think I recognize, but I can't remember the name of. Probably Freebird. Definitely Simple Man. Emmy arranges the supplies we brought and moves a few paint cans around, trying to bring some organization to the scene. Emmy, I need the Prussian blue paint. I'm gonna take a quick pause real quick. I'll be right back. Please forgive me, UPS guy needed a signature. Which one's the Prussian blue? She's staring hopelessly at 7 or 8 cans, each with a different tone of blue. This is the one with Prussian blue paint in it. Jeez, Ren, you're not helping at all. I look around as well, even though I don't know what Prussian blue looks like either. I wonder what blue has to do with Prussia. Or what Prussia even is. The name sounds vaguely familiar, but I can't place it. It's a place. While none of the blues look more Prussian than the other, the small print on the labels is legible enough to determine that none say anything about contents being Prussian. There is no Prussian blue here. We need to go get more then. I open my mouth to say that actually, but we're not both needed for such a simple task, like finding another pot of Prussian blue. But Emmy's already grabbed my arm and starting to drag me off. I wave to Reen, who doesn't seem to have noticed that the two of us are even leaving. Well, she'll notice when she goes for her Prussian blue and finds out it's still not there. Maybe. Dots. Probably not, actually. While I'm busy thinking of how weird Reen is, Emmy is dragging me back to the art classroom. I feel myself starting to run out of breath. What's the rush? Huh? Emmy giving me an appraising look as if she's trying to figure something out. It's just that you seem to be in a hurry. I'm not sure I can keep up. Comprehension dawns on her face. You're not out of breath, are you? There's almost an accusing playfulness to her tone. In attempting to deny it, I then realize that I've been breathing heavy since we stopped. Guess it's kind of obvious. A little. Not everybody can be in shape, you know. Takes all kinds, right? Emmy frowns. It's not a particularly good frown. That is, I should get in shape? Not that I hadn't already decided to try for that. After that flutter on the track, I figure there's a real need to get in some sort of running habit. I was, after all, feeling pretty good until I had my false alarm. Well, actually, I wasn't, but it was fun. Meanwhile, my comment seems to have helped Emmy come to her sort of decision. Well, that's it then. She gives me a serious look. You're joining me. Dots? I beg your pardon? In the mornings. You and I are now running partners. I've got a routine all planned out, in fact. She produces a crumpled sheet of paper. I've got it right here with me. I take the sheet of paper and give it a once-over. Times, dates, and laps all laid out. A slow increase from just a few laps a day to... My God, does she expect me to be running a marathon? And where did she find the time to get all this together? And how long has she been planning this anyway? You've been planning this? A little. But it's really the nurse's idea. He told me to keep an eye on you to make sure you exercise like he told you to. A vast conspiracy? Maybe Kenji's on to something here. This seems a bit much for just keeping an eye on me. Well, to be honest, I've been trying to find a running partner in the mornings for a while now. My God, Kenji, if you could only see the scheme unfolding. What do you need a partner for anyway? It's easier to keep up a workout if you're not the only one doing it. Isn't that obvious? You're less likely to quit if someone else is counting on you to be there, right? I see. And this won't only keep you running, but it'll make sure that I keep running as well. Meaning that I'll be obeying the nurse. And I'll be keeping an eye on you, just like you asked. You caught on quick, Kasal. And if I refuse? I have no intention of refusing, of course. But I've got to at least put up a token of resistance I've got to at least put up a token resistance to such a masterfully executed plan. Well, if you refuse, I'd have to pout. And you'd have to live with being the guy who made Emi Ibarazaki pout. You don't want that on your conscience, do you? As if to demonstrate, Emi begins pouting. It's the most adorable, heart-wrenching thing I've ever seen. Okay, I'll do it! Just don't do that. I feel like I just hit a puppy. So it's settled, right? You're going to be my running partner. Follow the workout? And the dietary plan? Dietary plan? Yeah, the dietary plan. You've got to eat healthy if you're going to get in shape, you know. I examined the workout routine closely. I don't see a dietary plan on here. Oh, right. I forgot to give that to you. Another crumpled sheet of paper is produced and handed over. It's somewhat less detailed. I had the nurse help me come up with it. The amount of dedication that the nurse has to keep me in good health is pretty overwhelming. I don't know many nurses who would get one of their students to spy on me, much less help come up with a dietary plan. Then again, I guess I'm not in a normal school. Maybe that's not such a bad thing. And again, this dietary plan seems to cut out just about everything that'll be offered at the festival tomorrow. So when does our running start? After the festival. Right after? What if I've had something to eat there? I could get a stomachache, you know. I meant the day after the festival. I knew that. Wasn't there something we were supposed to be doing? Oh, I guess we should get that paint for Rin, huh? Oh no, it slipped my mind. We're gonna call this an episode. Thank you for watching, guys, and see you next time.